The Smackdown review is dedicated to the life of Don West. May he rest in peace. Surprise! It's your boy Tommy on the spot for Watch Along Wrestling. Hopefully everyone is doing well and staying safe. Most likely our final video here of 2022 here on the channel. And I thank you all for checking us out. If it's your first time stumbling and bumbling across the channel, then please do hit that subscribe button so that you get all the video updates as they come through. And I promise you all, it is going to be a big 2023 here on the channel. I have a lot of ideas that are coming to mind, and I'm excited about a lot of really fun stuff here on the channel. Speaking of fun stuff, tonight WWE Smackdown was such a fun show that I had to come on here and talk about it with you guys. You know I love to come on and chat about the good shows, to chat about the fun stuff in the world of pro wrestling. And when a show is as fun as it was tonight, here we are hours after it's wrapped up, and I'm still excited about it. There's a lot to get into here on SmackDown. I'm going to break it all down for you. The biggest news to come out of this show probably is not even John Cena's return. It's hold on, if you don't want spoilers, which wouldn't make much sense that you clicked on this video, but stop it right here because I'm going to spoil something for you. Biggest news of the show is that Charlotte Flair returned tonight on SmackDown and defeated Ronda Rousey to become the new SmackDown Women's Champion. I'll get into all that during my breakdown here in a minute. But Charlotte, I thought, looked great. It's been a long time since we've seen her. We have not seen her since WrestleMania Backlash, so she's been gone most of 2022, and here she was tonight, retaking her throne as the queen on SmackDown. With that being said, let's get into the show itself. Show kicked off with, and I will say, this was a loaded show. It really feels like they took the WWE Day 1 pay-per-view, they chopped it in half, they said we're going to have a huge SmackDown and we're going to have a huge Raw. And one thing that I really love about it is that they were able to do so starting with SmackDown tonight, and you would think right before the new year, this would be a throwaway show. Very rarely, that week of wrestling there, other than Tribute to the Troops, which is always great, that week of wrestling, the week or two of wrestling during the holiday season is not something typically I jump on here and chat with all of you about. But SmackDown tonight was a really big, loaded show. Obviously, the return of John Cena, women's title match, Ronda Rousey versus Raquel Gonzalez. And then and then obviously Raw coming up, you've got the big match between Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss. So sandwiched around New Year's Eve weekend, we've got a lot of fun wrestling to sink our teeth into. And again, I thought tonight's show was great. Let me get into it. Started off here with Bray Wyatt. And I'll say this. I know that the stuff with Bray Wyatt has gotten a little slow. I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One that immediately springs to mind is I don't actually know if they planned to reveal that Bray Wyatt was behind the White Rabbit stuff back at Extreme Rules. I just think it picked up so much momentum, and I don't think they really had anything for that Extreme Rules show, so that's why it kind of became an entire show surrounding the return and the reveal of Bray Wyatt. So I think they've had plans in motion here in hopes of kind of going through all of 2023 with these reveals and with more and more to the story of Bray Wyatt. I am intrigued by it. And I will say tonight they did that big entrance for Bray Wyatt and it looked amazing. Crowd was so into him. Place was just going wild. Everyone had the phones out. You had that door there with Bray coming out and just, I thought it was awesome. Really cool stuff there from Wyatt, and he I thought looked good, and then immediately LA Knight came out. LA Knight looked great. You know, this Bray Wyatt LA Knight feud has been really fun to kind of watch because of the fact that not only has it's kind of been, you kind of look at a guy like for example, Ricky Starks has taken advantage of this moment in AEW, but he's kind of that first opponent for MJF. And so you kind of know MJF's going to beat him, at least you'd think so, but again, Ricky's been great. So same deal here with Bray Wyatt. I think Bray Wyatt had, you know, LA Knight I think was positioned as Bray's first opponent so that Bray can get the easy win and move on to different things. But in the process, LA Knight's really gotten himself over here. I think he comes out, he's almost at a stage now where he gets some of the best fan reactions. He's so good at interacting with the crowd, and really kind of his rise in this Bray Wyatt feud has really been a joy to watch. More stuff with Uncle Howdy. This time Uncle Howdy got in the ring and laid out Bray Wyatt. So interesting to see there what the development will be between Howdy and, Howdy and Bray Wyatt. I do think the story here is that Bray Wyatt is, Uncle Howdy is an extension of Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt's continuing to battle his inner demons, which is why he's having these matches and these moments here with Uncle Howdy. But I thought it was very interesting to see that, at least now you're starting to see that Howdy is a person. He got in the ring. This time you're seeing a little more of him each time. And I thought he actually looked great. I am keeping my fingers crossed. I hope this is the returning Bo Dallas. Everyone knows I'm a big Bo Dallas fan. I was a believer of Bo Dallas when he was in NXT, and that's the way that I hope this ends up going and the reveal here. But I guess that remains to be seen. They did announce it is going to be LA Knight against Bray Wyatt. Pitch black match, which I'm not too sure. I hope this is not going to be a deal where they just literally turn off all the lights and all you've got is a spotlight that's trying to follow Bray and LA Knight around. Because if so, I think it'll be awkward, and I don't know how that's going to come across. But I'm willing to give it a chance. I think it also could end up being a cinematic match, which they haven't done too much of since the pandemic. But remains to be seen. They are having a match, though, at Royal Rumble, and should be fun. Moving right along, next match, Solo Sikoa against Sheamus. Good little match here. Solo's starting to get a little better in the ring. I think that he is very green still. I think he's still improving each week. I think maybe he jumped up to the main roster a little fast, but it makes sense to have him as a part of the bloodline. As a character, I think he's great. I think that each week he gets a little better in the ring, and I love that he's incorporated some of Umaga's moveset into his own, so I think that's great. One of the main things that came from this is the return of Drew McIntyre. So John Cena tonight was not the only return. You had the return of both Charlotte and Drew McIntyre. McIntyre only out for a brief period of time. I think he got banged up in War Games. So he did come out, looked great, saved Sheamus. He kind of continues his budding relationship with the Brawlin' Brutes, and they ended up doing a deal where they announced that it's going to be Drew McIntyre and Sheamus against the Usos next week. I love that WWE continues to give us something to continue to look forward to each week. I think this has been a big change since Triple H has taken over, and every show means something. Not only did they announce it's going to be Usos against Sheamus and Drew McIntyre next week, but they announced 2 weeks from today it is going to be Gunther going up against Braun Strowman. Now, while that match doesn't do much for me, because I'm not a Strowman guy, at the same time, at least it gives you something to sink your teeth into and a reason to tune in each week. So, who knows? But, I thought this was good. Drew looked great, as he often does. My deal with Drew, I do think he's a little corny. I think he's a little too excited all the time. Nothing was worse than when he did his big song at the end of Clash at the Castle. But that's just Drew. I think that's who he is, and he's a fun-loving guy, and I think it does come across. And great to have McIntyre back. Certainly good to have him back in the mix there on SmackDown. Moving right along here, you had the Women's Championship match between Ronda Rousey and Raquel Gonzalez. I think this actually is Ronda's best match since she's returned. She had some good ones with Charlotte, but this match was fantastic. They got a ton of time, like 17 minutes or so, and they really allowed this to develop over 3 segments. Typically, if you're watching on delay and you want to catch up, you can kind of fast forward through the first part of matches because you know nothing's ever going to end during the commercial break. But this one actually had me hooked right from the start. I think that they had really great in-ring chemistry. I think this was Raquel's probably best match as well. And I think Ronda continues to get the short end of the stick. I do think she struggles a little bit when it comes to promos, and so people give her a hard time. But this was a solid match tonight. I think they really killed it. The ending of this match was awesome. It had Raquel Gonzalez climbing up to the top rope, continuing to battle out of her sore elbow, Ronda catching her with the armbar on the top rope, her doing her best to hold on, and eventually falling back and tapping out immediately. I thought this was awesome. Really good stuff there from both women. And then Charlotte returns. Charlotte returned. She immediately challenges Ronda Rousey to a match tonight, immediately following her match. Shayna Baszler was great in her role here, begging Ronda not to do it. Don't accept the role. You just had a match. Don't be stupid. Ronda allows the Pride to get involved here and does accept Charlotte's challenge. Now, there was a moment where Charlotte goes for the spear, and Ronda caught her and flipped her over and into the armbar. And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool if Charlotte returns and Ronda taps her immediately? Like literally, the minute she returns, she taps out. But we know that wasn't going to happen. Charlotte Flair, 14-time women's champion. Crowd ate this up. Crowd was really excited about this. And Charlotte was a total babyface, ran in the crowd, soaked in the adulation. There's a guy who was sitting right next to Charlotte as she's putting up the belt, and he's filming this whole thing with the pyro. I don't know if he has a YouTube channel, but if so, I hope that he posts that video because he got some really cool footage, and I'm sure, if nothing else, a great moment for him. Good to have Charlotte back. A lot of people hate on Charlotte. I think she's really good in the ring. And she's might not be my favorite, but having a big star on the women's roster is something that you can never really complain about. So good to see Charlotte back, and I thought she looked great. Top Dollar, man, I like Top Dollar. Top Dollar is one of us. Top Dollar was on a wrestling podcast. Yes, He played football professionally, so probably not one of us, I guess. But after that, is a huge fan. This guy has done wrestling podcasts in the past. This guy, I thought, came across great on that Hidden Gems show that was on A&E. I don't know why he gets so much hate. People just destroy this man all over Twitter. Yeah, he missed a top rope move, and yeah, it was tough, and it was kind of a botch. And for some reason, the backlash to this has now become his character. That is probably not a character that is destined for big things in WWE. I hope that I'm wrong, and I hope that maybe this is a character that they're going to build over time here. But I'd say sell, don't buy for Top Dollar. Interesting to see where this goes. I at least like that you had a little something there with some of the undercard guys leading to Top Dollar getting kind of made fun of by everyone, telling everyone to kind of cut the crap, and then basically leading to a Royal Rumble qualifying match. Love when they have Royal Rumble qualifying matches. Love that you need to do something to get in between Top Dollar and Ricochet. I know that WWE is now on DraftKings, but I'd say that the underdog in that match will most likely be Mr. Dollar. And again, I think he's a good dude. I think he's got the short end of the stick. But whenever your botch becomes your character, I think that's a test to see how you're going to handle that. And interesting to see kind of where that goes from here. But Top Dollar and Ricochet next week. Winner gets into the Royal Rumble match. Very cool stuff. Then from there, they showed Gunther's path of destruction as the Intercontinental Champion, and really getting him over strong as a strong champion. Imperium, who I love, and I'd love to be in the arena just to kind of sing along with Imperium's entrance music there. I think the whole thing is awesome. In any event, Gunther came out, was interrupted by Braun Strowman. Imperium laid out Braun Strowman. I love this too, because I will say Braun Strowman comes across, I actually do think Braun Strowman has some good skills. I think he's super over. The crowd goes nuts for pretty much everything he does, which at the end of the day is what the whole point of wrestling is all about, right? It's to get that response from the crowd. It's to get people to pay to come and see you, and I think Braun Strowman has always had that. I think that he has been a victim of some really bad storylines, but he's also not done himself any favors in endearing himself to anyone. He's come across, honestly, like a dick many times on the internet. And I think it's cool that they now have him in a storyline where Ricochet has to come to his defense. A scary moment, though. Ricochet came out to Braun Strowman's defense. It was running all over the place like a madman. It was swinging a chair shot all around. It went to swing his chair shot at Gunther and ended up whacking the hell out of poor Gunther's head. And they quickly went to the next segment. So hopefully Gunther is okay. But yeah, really kind of scary moment there. And then the main event. It was obviously Kevin Owens and John Cena taking on the team of Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn. This is, in my opinion, probably going to be the beginning of the end for Sami Zayn in the Bloodline. Cena came out. I will say Cena is awesome. I saw someone on Twitter saying something like, sometimes you don't know what you have until it's gone. And I think that's really kind of what it is here with Cena. I've always kind of been a Cena guy. I definitely got tired of Cena, I'd say, in that 2006, 2007 era when he had the title for a really long period of time. I still wish we got the Save Us Y2J to come and confront John Cena, because I think that was the original plan and that would have been awesome. Didn't get it, but I do think that, I think when Cena returned at the Rumble 2008, I was there, loved it. I think Cena then reinvented himself when he all of a sudden just started having amazing matches with everyone during his US Open title change, and I think that really showed his love for the business. He definitely didn't need to suddenly learn all of these new moves and have all of these great matches, but he went out of his way to do so from 2015 to 2017. Just great matches with everyone from AJ Styles to Zack Ryder to Seth Rollins, everybody he fought, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, you name it. That US Open Challenge run was awesome for Cena. And I really do. I think he did a great job in reinventing himself. So I gained a lot of respect for him there. And then I just ate up his return in 2021. I went to SummerSlam. I thought it was just so cool to have him come back and kind of just, I felt like I was a part of that whole Cena, Summer of Cena deal. So I hope Cena is back now and will be a part of the road to WrestleMania, because I do think the show is fun with him there. Is he corny? Absolutely beyond corny. The man has the facial expressions all over the top. That is the most corniest thing you'll ever see. But I'll say he came out, that place erupted. No one does the Cena sucks anymore. You watch these shows, no one's doing Let's Go Cena, Cena sucks. Everyone is all about John Cena, and they're really into him. And who knew it would take him going and starting doing movies and barely being around to really be appreciated. But when he's there now, people love it. I thought that his entrance was very cool. He thanked everyone for giving him. He did the usual talk to Stu, and he said, Stu, normally I chat with you, but here today, I'm here to chat with all of you at home. Thank you for allowing me to do this for the last 20 years. I love you all. Let's go to work. And he did. And yeah, 10-minute match there. Kevin Owens was definitely in the ring a lot more than Cena. They had an annoying commercial break. I can't deal with the commercial breaks in the beginning of matches. Specifically, I think it was somebody on Twitter had said, you know, Cena's first match in 20 years, and 20 years, first match in 2022, you're building this up as a big deal, you immediately go to commercial break. That is infuriating, and no excuse for it. I don't know why they do that, but I thought it was a solid match. My only concern is the way they built this up was Roman's getting in the ring, and he's going up against Kevin Owens, and immediately the crowd is screaming for Cena. Well, we want Cena, Cena, Cena. They're going nuts for Cena. And Kevin Owens is teasing the tag. He's teasing the tag. He's teasing the tag. And eventually they tag in Cena. Cena gets in. He does a couple of moves. But what the problem there is Cena's probably not around. I don't think he's wrestling at the Rumble. I don't know if the plan is John Cena and Roman at the Rumble. Maybe. And if it is, great. This makes a lot of sense. But I think more than likely it's going to be Kevin Owens against Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. And so by doing that and having the crowd, it really leading the crowd to chant for Cena, which, believe me, they did. They were really into John Cena. But by doing that, it sets a bad precedent because John's now out of here now, most likely at a minimum for the next 6 weeks or so. And Kevin Owens is going to be the guy that you're going to have to sell the Royal Rumble on. Now, granted, the Royal Rumble sells on the Royal Rumble. You could have Bob Holly in the title match, and it'll still be okay. But I didn't love that part of it. I think a couple of times, especially at the end of the match, which we'll get to in a second, it led to John Cena taking out Roman Reigns. John Cena hits Roman with the FU. Roman scoots out of the ring, and then Sami Zayn takes the pin from Kevin Owens. That, again, now unless you're setting up John Cena and Roman Reigns 3, or really 2, in this incarnation of the 2, it didn't do you any good. There's no reason for any of this, right? So, I don't know. Remains to be seen. It was great seeing John Cena back. Great to see the Bloodline finally get a little comeuppance. But it was at the expense of Sami Zayn. If there's one thing this character of Roman Reigns has never stood for, it has been losing. That's why the Usos continue to win. They feel like they have to. It doesn't make sense for Roman Reigns to just be okay with Sami Zayn taking these L's. And so that is what I think will eventually happen here. And who knows? I think that will play a lot into the story of Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. But for tonight, it was all about the return of John Cena. And again, it was always good to see Cena. And afterwards, he did a really nice speech thanking the people for 20 years, saying how really he wasn't going to have a match this year. It was not in the plans, and it was really just a deal where WWE was literally in his backyard. He lives in Tampa now. It's the holiday season. He was finally home. Why not do a match? And he was able to have one. And it has now been around for 20 years. So, got to give him credit. The longevity is there. And tonight was a good little flashback for Cena. Interesting to see what happens with him moving forward, if he is going to be a part of WrestleMania season. And interesting now to see the next development of the Bloodline there with Sami Zayn. In any event, this was super fun. It was great to be back with you guys. I'm going to have some recap of 2022 stuff going on here over the next few days. Hopefully, we'll be able to catch up. We'll be able to chat through all of that. If you are going out for New Year's Eve, make sure you do, you're safe. If it's $50, $60, $100 to get around via a Lyft or via an Uber, it is worth it. You'll be able to go out. You'll be able to have a good time, a worry-free time. You'll keep yourself and others safe. So do it. It's a night you should just invest in and do that. Find someone to give you a lift and enjoy the night and bring in the new year. And let's all have just a marvelous, awesome 2023 and hopefully be back here with you guys much more often to review these shows. I love chatting about them. Let me know what you thought in the comment section. I'll catch you all in the next video.